is In the Know for Tuesday, September 28th, the 271st day of 2021. There are 94 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105. On Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast. On Facebook Watch, on YouTube Live, on Periscope, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Big news on the job front for the region. We'll tell you about that. And we welcome back a lost sheep back into the fold. We've got that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Moscow, Paris, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well. You got to call a Lady Cougar volleyball win last night.
Yeah, it was good match.
You
3
say
to
lots
1.
Lots of digs and kills and spikes and sets, and
There were a lot of it. Aces. Can't forget those.
Mr. McGee almost got injured.
Well, it was more Don Brown.
Oh, well,
it landed.
okay.
It was kind of one of those things that it was going to hit one of them, and it landed behind Don Brown.
To be clear, I'm more worried about Mr. McGee. He's like got Betty White status.
But
Whatever
Mr.
it
Spirit
takes to-
was prepared
Okay.
because he put his foam cougar paw over his head that would have
Yeah.
acted as a barrier to.
By the way, before we shift gears too, I just thought I did get the green light yesterday. I had it reaffirmed to me that it is okay that I play Neil Diamond, Cracklin' Rosie.
Oh,
I
okay.
got the.
Okay.
I knew that already,
Okay.
but I had it reaffirmed, so it's good. I got the green light. Over there in chair number 3, Beach is on assignment today, so we say good morning and welcome back. First Baptist Church Litchfield knows him as their worship and discipleship minister.
Who am I?
The Social Security Administration knows him as Dennis C. Cook. We lovingly know him as Yukon Cornelius. Morning, Humble Bumble.
Hey, what's happening?
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back. It's like riding a bike. I kind of forgot there for a minute, but
You are our woolly sheep that went astray for a few weeks.
yeah, sorry about that.
and managed to find your way back.
And to those of you watching, you're welcome.
I don't know about that. I think people miss
The
you.
views
but
dropped
you're
drastically
real-
today.
yeah, people have to tune in because they don't know what's going to happen.
That's true.
So it's more of a curiosity type thing. So I know your job got in the way, I think, one week, and then last week you had a big. I'll call it an emotional week because anytime you start to become a little bit of an empty nester, like the first little bird leaves the nest and goes and does something different, it has to be emotional. But you went from concert one night in Cincinnati to then taking Gracie to Sullivan the next day and dropping her off and getting her settled. So how did Dad hold up during that process?
Dad held up really well.
How did Mom hold up?
She did as well. She did better than Dad.
Okay.
But Dad had to get back to church. It was a Wednesday. And she had a scheduled move-in time, so I could only be there a certain amount of time, and I think that made it better.
So you had to exit rather than a long goodbye.
Yeah.
Now I saw her first day of school picture yesterday because they still do that. Oh, there she is when she was little.
Yeah, we recreated that picture.
Yeah.
Who is the guy on the right?
That's like some macho man right there.
That's right, it was.
And but so she had a great first day of school yesterday.
She did, and went really well, and she's excited, man. She loves being up there.
So I had a moment late last week that's completely selfish, but about Thursday or Friday, I thought, what am I going to do when I need some of those cookies? She's so famous for those great cookies. I don't know what are in them, but they're very addictive.
So Joey Snyder lives across the street from us, and she would usually bake late at night for something that was due the next day.
Yeah.
And while we were trying to sleep, we would smell it, and she would always end up with extras and take stuff across the street. And he texted Gracie, like the day she moved in, like the next day, it was like, hey, could you bring some cookies over? Oh, wait, never mind. I hate this already.
I may have to find a place to live near Sullivan University
might.
just for my
An apartment.
Yeah.
just for my cravings. I don't want to be a me monster at all because I know what it's like to do what you just did. But next thing you know, you'll be walking her down the aisle or something too. So you and I both had emotional weeks or days in the last few days. So
congratulations to you.
Thank
all.
you. Glad she's doing well too. Glad that Gracie's settled in. I thought it was neat though, being in college, she's still got her first day of school chalkboard outside her dorm door and all that. It's like, well, got to keep up the keep up the traditions. Another warm day ahead. Going to have a foggy evening tonight is possible. We'll see. Kind of south of I-64 is going to be more of the foggy area, which so includes us here between the lakes. But it's going to be summer-like warmth going to stick around through at least Thursday, when highs warm into the 80s. A drop in temperatures are expected by later in the week, and we don't mean a massive drop, but at least back into the mid-70s and then low 70s for the highs next week. Mostly sunny, 87 today. Dry fog possible late tonight, a low of 64. Mostly sunny and 88 is what you can expect. For your Wednesday, 60 new COVID-19 cases, 3 new deaths in Grayson County over the previous reporting period. And except for deaths, the statewide numbers are trending in a more favorable direction. Josh Embry from the Grayson County Health Department said 60 new cases of the virus diagnosed since the last update on Friday brings our total 4,378. 3 new deaths were also announced, bringing us to 74. 219 active cases in the county. So just a couple of weeks ago, we were over 500 active cases. So that number is much better. That's down 144 just since Friday alone. There are 14 people hospitalized, down 7 since Friday. Our incidence rate is now 106.5, which is markedly better. And it's down from 121, but we were in the same 180 or 160. Did we ever get up to that?
It got up high.
Statewide, there were 1,749 cases yesterday. That's your Monday number, so pay more attention to the today number. There are currently 2,045 Kentuckians hospitalized. There are 617 in ICU, which is 8 more than the day before, and there are 399 people on ventilators, which is down 24. The state's rate of occurrence overall, 68.45. The governor said that we are not only are we plateauing, but he feels like we're headed back down. So that's a good sign. He pointed out that 22,000 cases reported last week showed a decline from the 3 previous weeks. So, not free to do exactly go back to what you've been doing, but it does feel like maybe we've turned the corner, which is good. The governor also outlined Kentucky's COVID-19 booster shot guidelines yesterday. Recommends that individuals 65 and older, long-term care residents, and people with medical conditions that increase their risk of severe coronavirus infection should receive a 3rd dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine 6 months after their second shot. The governor said that yesterday. People 18 to 64 who are likely to be exposed at their workplaces should also get a booster shot. So that's probably going to be your healthcare workers and some other people that are working on the front lines. But right now, no booster for Johnson & Johnson people yet. So that may be off in the distance. And I believe it'll probably either happen tomorrow or Thursday. Josh Embry from the Grayson County Health Department is going to join us on the show and talk about how booster shots are being handled at the local level. Now that there's been a little state guidance, Dr. Stack will be communicating that out. Then Grayson County will have or already does have a plan on how they're going to do that. So we have that information to look forward to again tomorrow or Thursday. I think just trying to coordinate schedules. Now, the big news of the morning, I've kind of been trying to rush through the COVID information to get through. We've been wondering for a couple of weeks what these big mega projects are that the state's been talking about. And yesterday, the big reveal for an announcement that's officially being made in Frankfort this morning. Ford Motor Company, already with a huge footprint in Kentucky, will be hiring even more in the future. The company announced yesterday afternoon it's building 2 facilities in Hardin County to manufacture electric vehicle batteries, creating 5,000 new jobs. Ford Motor Company and SK Innovation will build 2 electric battery plants in the Blue Oval SK Battery Park in Hardin County, basically at Glendale, if you know where that is. And it will be investing a record $5.8 billion. Kentucky workers at Blue Oval Battery Park will supply Ford's North American assembly plants with batteries that will power the next generation of Ford and Lincoln electric vehicles. Production of the advanced lithium-ion batteries will begin in 2025. So not only will there be major construction jobs in the manufacturing of this facility, and then not only will there be 5,000 jobs in these two facilities, there will be countless other businesses that operate in orbit of this facility. So the number is even much greater than the 5,000 that Ford is introducing. It's going to make I-65 even busier than it was north and south from Glendale, and then trying to get down to Ford's other facilities that are south of us and then to the north. It will have a huge impact. It will have a huge ripple effect on our region. And you don't think of it in 5,000 job terms. And I don't want to rain on anybody's parade because I think this is wonderful news. But regional employers just went, uh-oh, because it will be very challenging to recruit 5,000 new non-Kentuckians to come in and become Kentuckians between now and 2025 to fill these jobs that then aren't robbing from an already thin labor force. It's going to drive wages. It's going to drive property values in southern Hardin County, in Hart County, in eastern Grayson County, and LaRue County. It's going to have a huge impact because when you have that number, then it just has the trickle-down economics factor of this, or the people that operate in orbit. The financial numbers are just staggering. The governor says it's the largest investment ever made in the state of Kentucky.
I read that yesterday. That's an amazing stat.
And it's close to Grayson County. I mean,
Yes.
what? You could be a Glendale, and depending on where you live in Grayson County, you could be to Glendale quicker than...
If you live at Eastview, you can be there in about 10 minutes
Yeah.
if you do it right. I mean, it's just going to change the dynamics. A lot of what's been going on in Hardin County for the last 50 years has been north of E-Town. You know, it's been
Fort Knox.
Radcliffe and then Fort Knox adjacent, and then over into Meade County, and then, you know, you get Dixie Highway, and then you get Shepherdsville growing that way, and it's all just kind of blending in. But to plant a flag in the Glendale community that has been very successful in staving this off for the last 25 years. They've worked pretty hard to say, we want Glendale to be Glendale.
Yeah.
And so finally it's going to change. It's going to open up development. So in 25 years, it will be interesting to see what Hardin County looks like. And it will be interesting to see what the edges around Hardin County, because people will escape. They'll go across county lines. Just go to Collegiate in Edmonson County and look at what people who are fleeing Warren County prices are doing, and it just has this. It has this big impact. That's right. So it's exciting news, but there will be some definite growing pains as someone loses in this deal, or someone feels a little bit twisted because the game's about to change. I believe. So we'll see how it pans out. Also, another Tennessee community got similar news yesterday.
Memphis, I think that area.
It's a rural portion, but it would be kind of like Glendale is to Louisville. This community would be to Memphis. And so they just dropped another plant that's almost exactly like that in there. And so for communities like that, it's an exciting day, you know, because that just doesn't happen all that often.
I mean, 5,000 jobs, that's... Yeah, that's a lot.
A Hart County man has been killed after being ejected from a vehicle in an early morning crash. State police said troopers responded to a single vehicle accident in the 2400 block of Cub Run Highway, 3 miles west of Munfordville, about 5:30 yesterday morning. They found a 1996 Toyota 4Runner driven by 39-year-old Jessica Hayes of Munfordville, traveling east on Cub Run Highway when she lost control of the vehicle, swerved to miss an animal in the roadway. It left the road and overturned, tossing a passenger, a 43-year-old Arthur Jerem, also of Munfordville, from the Toyota. He was airlifted from the scene to Baptist Health Hardin, where he was pronounced deceased. 3 deputies involved in what was described as a wild pursuit in Edmonson County, and it spilled out over onto I-65. There's a lot of detail and jumping out there and running from this and doing that, but got the vehicle came to a stop. 2 women jumped out. One ran across I-65, got into a passenger vehicle, refused to come out, and you can read all about it at K105.com. But
Wow.
Yeah, it's a story.
Just another day on I-65. And that's the other thing about, we just managed to over the last 20 years, build I-65 out to where it is a beautiful highway from the Ohio River until you get to Kentucky Downs, and then it chokes down to about four lanes, two each direction, when you get into northern Tennessee. But even that is become more congested, not just the trucks that are supplying the factory, but that many employees over that number of shifts is going to add congestion to southern Hardin County that hasn't been there yet. So maybe they'll start building flying cars. So maybe they'll build batteries for flying cars instead of for
that's it.
road cars. LaRue County man has been charged with murder after a body was found in his backyard. State police said troopers received information on a possible body buried on a property in Buffalo, about 6 miles southeast of Hodgenville. On Friday, police arrived at residence on Corinth Road, conducted a search where authorities located the remains of an unidentified person buried in a large pile of debris in the backyard. They arrested 59-year-old David Pyer of Buffalo and charged him with murder. He was lodged in the LaRue County Jail.
Bizarre story. It's terrible.
By the way, about the flying cars, I don't think I want the flying cars.
Oh,
No to the Jetsons?
no Jetsons.
And here's why. I've seen the way most people drive on the road.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they got that.
Not as many restrictions up there, though. Lots more
Is
airspace.
that a good thing or a bad thing?
Will we lose, if we all had flying cars, would we lose the phrase, stay in your lane?
It's a good point. How do you...
Stay on your cloud.
If you're not good at driving, there's a new regional driver testing branch. If you just want to,
Why are you looking at me?
Even if you have your license, I didn't look at you.
You looked right at
I
me.
might have looked in your direction. State police said new
A little
branches
awkward in here.
are in Madisonville and Owensboro. Madisonville office is going to serve Caldwell, Crittenden, Hopkins, McLean, Muhlenberg, and Webster. The Owensboro site's going to handle Davis, Hancock, and Ohio counties. So if you know anyone in Ohio County,
Never met anyone from there.
Dennis, are you
It's
are you
cold.
frozen?
It's cold.
Oh, there you go. I mean, for a minute you had this look on your face like you could be intently listening, and I thought
I was.
I thought you just made the comment about Ohio County. You just froze saying, "Oh,
I was listening. What'd I miss?
I'm waiting for you. I set you up on Ohio County. So if you're a sore-headed driver,
There you
then
go.
you need to use
Hartford,
the Owensboro,
Sarah.
Owensboro facility.
Sarah Neal.
Nearly 12,000 people have been removed from the voter rolls in Kentucky. 12,000, most of them deceased. Secretary of State Michael Adams announced 11,835 voters were removed from Kentucky's voter rolls in August. The majority of that number consisted of 10,693 deceased voters. That was made possible by matching state records against federal Social Security records. Now, I don't think he's saying that any of those people voted, but to keep rolls clean and know who is and who isn't, to eliminate the clutter, I think it's important to do this periodically, to go through, because I think when you lose a loved one, there are so many decisions to make, and it's a trying time, and it's traumatic, and
That's the last thing you think about.
mourn and you grieve and those things, and I don't think you think, you know what, I should let the elections people know that it's one of those things that gets overlooked that you have to do from time to time. Mark Stoops spoke to the media yesterday, and then also was on his weekly coaches show last night, and talked that eliminating fumbles and turnovers are a point of emphasis for the week ahead. If you have any chance of defeating Florida at home on Saturday night, you must take care of the football. But also, one thing that I realized yesterday is, while the defense I hadn't been overwhelmed by the defense in the first 3 weeks, the offense last week kept putting the defense in a spot.
And they stepped up.
And they stepped up
did.
every time, even when they turned the ball over. And the UK defense stopped the South Carolina offense on 3 fourth-down tries, which I heard Mark Stoops refer to as that's like 3 turnovers.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so, it's kudos to the defense of, even though the offense really hasn't looked good the last couple of weeks, the defense has come to play. So that is a good thing.
We're still winning. If
right.
we can get out of our own way,
4-0.
Think about how good we could
I'd rather
be.
win ugly than lose pretty.
Take care of the football, please. Take care of. It's just going to cost you at some point in time.
Yeah.
If you play with that fire long enough, it's going to burn you, and it seems like something simple. So, I guess they'll. Again, he says it'll be a point of emphasis.
Yeah.
I hope it involves duct tape, as I said yesterday. Class 1A, the high school football poll is out. Pikeville still number 1, and 2A Lex Christian. Butler County sneaking into the 2A poll at number 10. Class 3A, Bardstown at number 1, Corbin number 1 in 4A.
4A is a really competitive class this year.
5A, head of the class, currently Frederick Douglass, followed by South Warren, then Owensboro, but Graves County up to number 5. So that's going to be a good matchup, Owensboro and Graves County.
Coming up here in a couple, you heard it from me.
And the Class 6A, Male and St. X, so pretty much what you would expect.
But no Trinity.
In Class 6A.
Trinity's 0-6.
Yeah, that's
not good.
I also, notice when you look around the polls, none of the Hardin County schools are ranked very well in the polls right now. So, especially E-Town, coming out of their state championship game. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Choose any breakfast sandwich, buy one, get one free. Available only on the app. Price and participation may vary. McD app download and registration required. Single item at regular price.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Attention propane customers. Has your existing provider been hard to reach? Have you had questions that haven't been answered or experienced long wait times and been asked to reply and send emails for customer support? Don't waste any more of your time. Southern States Co-op in Bowling Green will take your call. They will even swap out your existing tank with no charge for removing your current tank. Southern States of Bowling Green is ready to serve your propane needs in Bowling Green and surrounding counties because empty is never an option.
Leggett & Platt has made it easier than ever to join the team and immediately start earning wages with a great company. New hires with Leggett & Platt now start at $16.20 per hour, plus a production incentive. You'll be eligible for a $500 sign-on bonus once you pass the probationary period. A great wage to start, an incentive to work hard, and a sign-on bonus to show you're a worthy member of the team. Apply in person today at Leggett & Platt on Ed Embry Drive in Litchfield. Leggett & Platt is an equal opportunity employer.
What does the sound of a school bell bring to mind? Homeroom? Lunchtime? The day's end? Or the end of school entirely, as in kids dropping out? At Communities in Schools, we work directly inside schools to help those students whose ability to come to school is often jeopardized by hardships, the loss of a loved one, poverty, lack of housing, or bullying. Hear from a few students whose lives we have touched.
They've always had my back. They've always done anything to help me.
At Communities in Schools, we empower students to succeed in and out of the classroom.
They've been there for when I've had any questions, any problems personally. Anytime I needed support, they were there.
Our mission is to ensure that at-risk kids have someone by their side.
It means a lot to me to graduate. It's just a big accomplishment.
Communities in Schools never gave up on me. They told me I can do it, and I did it.
Communities in Schools. We're in schools to help kids stay in school. See how we help all students succeed at communitiesinschools.org.
A report says the iPhone 14 is going to look completely different. Bloomberg says it will represent a complete redesign, the first since the iPhone 10 arrived in 2017. Reports suggest the new model would supposedly resemble a supersized iPhone 4 with a band-like titanium outer ring, flush rear cameras, and a thicker chassis. Apple will also, in theory, begin dropping the display notch and would use a hole-punch front camera like many Android phones. iPhone 14 due out next year. Microsoft is redesigning Skype again for a super modern-looking video conferencing service. The new grid that's displayed during calls will soon include everyone on a call, regardless of whether they have video enabled or not. Google is adding some features so users can travel green. Search Giant is now marking hotels as eco-certified with a sustainability tab that describes what sustainable practices the hotel employs. Practices can range from conserving water by reusing towels to providing vegetarian meal options for guests. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Today is Good Neighbor Day.
Oh,
Good Neighbor, a brand of ice cream or treats.
I think you're correct.
I don't think so.
It's not very popular around here, but sometimes when I've traveled, I've seen Good Neighbor
Yes.
popsicles or ice cream sandwiches
No.
or something close to
Would
that.
Joey Snyder classify you in this realm, Dennis?
Only when he texts me, Good Neighbor ice cream. Yes, that's it. Only when he texts me and says, speaking of ice cream, are you ready to go get ice cream?
Good neighbor, good fences make good neighbors. It is also strawberry cream pie day today. Dennis, you're the picky eater. Where do you come down on strawberry cream pie?
I love strawberries, but I'm going to vote no on the strawberry cream pie.
All right.
Even if Gracie made it?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't eat all the stuff that she makes because she uses a lot of cream cheese. Y'all know that about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
baker's
really
friend.
think you went astray somewhere in that regard.
I know,
Hey,
right?
Sunday, I spent my morning in Caneyville at church and then helped my dad with a little project right after church and had a sandwich, had lunch, and then had a few hours of work that I needed to do on Sunday because we had a weird week last week. So, stuff has to get accomplished. So I was here on Sunday afternoon. And as I left, I was driving through town, just minding my own business.
Yeah.
Thinking, okay, I'm going to get home and enjoy my Sunday afternoon. And there's fall decorating going on and all that. So, all right, here we go. I got this taken care of. So I got to the intersection of North Main Street, and they're in front of St. Joseph Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So Walnut, East Walnut, West Walnut. And so I pull up to the intersection there and come to a stop. So, by the way, it was beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Yes, it
was just a gorgeous day. It was not too warm. It was sunshine. It kind of felt like a little, the leaves haven't started to turn yet, but you can tell, like, okay, we're not too far from turning colors. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed, that's kind of a weird intersection. It's got that weird traffic light that's on the side because you pull up so far to the intersection that the light's above you, you can't see it. So they got one on the side, and it was just gorgeous. People were out. And so I noticed coming from the East Walnut side, approaching the intersection, were two young men walking toward the intersection. Mm-hmm. And they're probably, early teens, something like that. And so I glanced over because, you got to pay attention to pedestrians, and as they were approaching the intersection, and I glanced to my left, and I was like, that kid kind of looks familiar. But I noticed he waved at me, and like, there's a friendly young fella. Yeah. Look at me. Look at him waving at me on a Sunday afternoon. Just it felt like, oh, that's a nice thing to do because I've had kids do other things. Yeah. So, they waved at me, but with not as many fingers.
Eli.
So so I glance, and then I'm waiting, and so it's their opportunity to cross. The light changes, and so these two young men, and I still can't place. And then all of a sudden, I notice this young man that waved at me is wearing a shirt that says Mayberry Man. I know exactly who this kid is. I've never met Trey in person that I know of, but I've seen him in photographs.
That's funny.
But there was, I looked like, I should have known that's a cook.
That's right.
That's a cook. But I thought, so he's been into his dad's swag bag.
Yeah, I brought them all back a shirt signed by the director. Uh-huh. And Trey and his friend Landon, they are what we call now Sunbeam Security.
Okay.
It's
good to know. Neighborhood Watch.
Uh-huh. You talk about Neighborhood Watch, they have it.
Okay.
So don't mess with them because everybody's watching them. So you think, hey, I'll mess with these guys. No, everybody's watching you mess with them. So we all see it.
And he's the Mayberry Man.
He is. He has he has seen the movie and he enjoyed it. So he thought he was probably cool wearing that shirt.
it just reminded me. So I didn't grow up in Litchfield. I grew up south of Caneyville. And so we didn't have that neighborhood where you could get out on a Sunday afternoon and walk the streets and just get out, just enjoy. And so there was something about it, though, that kind of reminded me of Mayberry. It was like two young men out not causing any trouble, just enjoying the great day. But then I did wonder, do they know where he is? Like, he's he's not real far from Tilden, but
one mile. He's 1.2 miles.
Is that his leash?
That's his leash.
The 1.2 mile.
He can
radius.
walk to church on a sunny day in the middle of the day with a lot of people out. That's kind of and that's how I grew up, though, but with a bicycle.
Sure.
I mean, that's what you did. You just rode your bike everywhere. You owned the entire neighborhood subdivision, and
we would ride up and go get lunch all the time.
Yeah.
What I didn't know from that process, though, and this is really a credit to you all and your parenting, is I just assumed that he had no idea who I am, and he was being friendly to whoever he encountered, and so I just say kudos on that because you're raising kids.
Like you said, at least he didn't Eli you.
That's true. He could have put the Eli Manning on me. I have run across a list of the most popular toys of the last 120 years that you can still buy today.
Okay.
We all have toys from our childhood that we remember that left big impressions upon us, but some of them have kind of come and gone. We had some toys and they don't make them anymore. But if you go all the way back to the 1890s, you'll find Crayola crayons.
Is that a toy?
Believe it or not, Crayola has been around since 1885, and they haven't changed much. They're still colorful. They're still fun. And some people say they still taste good.
They're not. That's not a toy.
Yeah, I don't think that's a toy, though, is it?
I'm sorry. This is
in
not
1890 it was.
Well, you had dirt. You had sticks.
And
that's
Crayola.
a toy. Yeah, I mean, a stick is more of a toy than a Crayola crayon is.
It's a writing utensil. So a pencil's a toy.
No.
A pen's a toy. Well, was one of those 4-colored pens a toy?
Imagine, though, if you're living in 1895.
Is this Little House on the Prairie days?
Imagine 1895 and someone hands you a box of Crayola crayons. I think if you could ask your 1895 self, you would say it provides as much pleasure as a toy.
Okay.
In 1900s, the rocking horse. It's actually been a staple in the lives of kids for hundreds of years. 1910s, the Raggedy Ann doll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still around today. I didn't know that Raggedy Ann, it began being produced in 1915, but Raggedy Andy didn't premiere until 1920. So for a while, there was about 5 years there where the Raggedy Ann, she was an only child.
Yeah.
Until Andy came along. In 1920s, the Radio Flyer wagons.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
While they
Still
also
around.
produce scooters, tricycles, and bicycles, the classic steel and wood wagon is what the toy company Radio Flyer is best known for. The 1930s Monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
Caused many fights in households across America.
Monopoly.
It was designed in 1904 as the landlord's game, but then during the Great Depression, people started calling it Monopoly.
Ah.
1940s, we got the Slinky.
Still around.
Yeah, I mean, classic, right?
Yeah.
Got to put it down a flight of stairs and let it make its way down.
Yep. 1950s, we got Mr. Potato Head.
It's controversial now.
Potato Head.
It's still here.
In the 1950s, we got Mr. Potato Head, and we still have Mr. Potato Head.
Well,
I'm a
for
married
limited
spud.
time.
I'm a married spud. I'm a married spud. I'm
For
a married
limited time.
spud.
I'm offended.
Oh, the real unbelievable thing about the Mr. Potato Head,
Yeah.
you could make the Mr. Potato Head anything that you wanted. You could dress the Mr. Like, you have the parts to construct your potato head however you want.
Okay.
Why did you have to throw a foul on the way that they were presented?
There's a mustache in there. Don't say it.
I don't have to say it.
This is all you two.
Everyone knew what I was thinking.
I'm just going to go sit in the corner on this.
That's the beauty of this show. Is that all you have to do is do the setup, and I don't even have to pull the trigger. I go. But
I did buy a Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head recently to keep in the box.
I was going to say mint in box. I hope don't
Yeah.
take them out because they would be a true collector's item. The 1960s, we got Easy Bake Ovens. introduced in 1963. The 1970s, late 70s to be more specific, we got Star Wars action figures. In the 1980s, we got the Rubik's Cube. Originally known as the Magic Cube, it got rebranded. It was designed in 1974, but became the biggest toy in the world in the 1980s. It was really hard to get the stickers back on there and lined up right.
Without knowing that somebody cheated?
Can't believe you said that.
They just never got exactly lined up again once the stickers were off of them.
That wasn't my problem. My problem was putting it back together once I threw it at the wall.
Yeah, did you ever destroy one and notice how they came, like how it was constructed? Mm-hmm. So they were in 4 parts, and then you could break them down from there. In 1990s, we got the PlayStation. In the 90s, kids couldn't get enough, and I guess they still can't.
How's the Nintendo not? That was late 80s. I mean, that was, you talk about game changer.
Better than the Rubik's Cube.
The 2010s, our toys have changed a little bit because in the 2010s it was the iPad. And the 2020s so far is Baby Yoda. I mean, really, that's the biggest toy that's new to the 20s.
Something tells me that that's not gonna stand through the decade. Nothing against Baby Yoda. I'm just saying that if the iPad was the 2010s, that's...
Sam, we're going to insist you call him Grogu because you throw shade.
I do at the Star Wars.
So you are not friendly terms with to be able to call him Baby Yoda. You need to call him Grogu.
Just think about the 80s, though, was the toy generation. Barbie, He-Man. Well, Barbie went several
Did you just
decades.
put He-Man with Barbie?
Yes. Billion-dollar industries.
They would have beautiful children.
Oh, man. Blonde.
Ken might have something to say about that.
Ken's not around a lot.
4 holiday food shortages that you should know about now.
Wait a minute. Don't be giving me no bad news.
Turkey.
Sam, you giving it away?
Turkey.
What?
Yep. Because Americans celebrated Thanksgiving in smaller groups last year, they also opted for smaller turkeys than normal. There's a shortage of the smaller birds this year that feed around 10 to 14 people. Bring on the 25-pounder.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll take it. I've got the Butterball XL turkey fryer. I can take the 25-pounder. That'll be fine.
Who'll be buying small turkeys?
That's what I'm wondering.
It is almost Butterball time.
Why?
Yeah.
Yes.
When is it
I
not?
can't wait.
Touche.
I've still got a couple of Butterballs in the freezer.
Okay.
From last year, so there'll be no shortage at our house. Apples. So apparently, there could be an apple shortage.
Come on. Who wrote this?
The apple farmers in Wisconsin. Pumpkin and cranberries all could suffer some shortages. So are those the 4 most famous Thanksgiving foods?
I was going to say.
I guess we still got potatoes,
What's
right?
left? Yeah, I guess.
There's no yams.
And then, Dennis, an assignment for you in the coming weeks. Brock's Turkey Dinner Candy Corn will taste different this year. All the Halloween-themed candies that they're releasing this year. Brock's will come back with its Thanksgiving-flavored candy corn that first made its debut in 2020. Last year's Thanksgiving candy corn included candy corn in flavors of a roasted turkey, then side dishes of green beans, cranberry sauce, stuffing, and glazed carrots, along with a sweet potato pie for dessert. This year's dinner candy corn, however, is a tad different. While green beans, cranberry sauce, stuffing, and roasted turkey are back in the bag, the glazed carrots and sweet potato pie will be replaced by apple pie and coffee. No? You'd rather have apple pie than glazed carrots. Is your camera frozen again?
I thought it was frozen again there for
I'm
a
just
second.
trying to figure. Is this a Babylon Bee article?
Nope. This is a legit, straight up.
No.
This is the truth. Can Sarah find us a bag of?
Yeah, Sarah, I think you're going to the store today.
Can you find
look for turkey in a bag?
Of Brock's turkey
candy,
dinner.
whatever.
I'm surprised this slipped by us because I'd really like to try it, just to
No
see what
way.
each individual piece of candy corn
I would try it.
tastes like. Yeah?
I don't eat regular candy corn.
I mean, all the other shortages, food shortages are going to be.
Can they be worse than sweet corn Pringles?
No, they cannot be. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
If you're the average person, you only think about income taxes from January to April. But the choices you make 12 months a year have a big impact on your tax return preparation and even your refund. Making adjustments to your financial matters during tax filing season is like trying to lose weight during a routine doctor visit. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis & Hart work year-round to advise clients on important financial decisions so that during tax filing season, you're carrying a lot less stress and worry. Join the Peace of Mind team with Buckles, Travis & Hart, 270-259-5604 or GraysonCPAs.com.
Your annual homecoming tailgate party was a rousing success. You caught up with your weird cousin Phil. You and your buddy Dave were crowned cornhole champions. Your famous potato salad drew rave reviews. The home team even won. But the best part was what didn't happen. You didn't drive home buzzed. You got a ride home from your cousin Phil, who may be weird, but also definitely sober. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid with funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
Attention Medicaid members, get your first COVID vaccine shot September 6th through 30th and become eligible to win a 4-day, 3-night vacation to the most magical place ever in Orlando, Florida. 20 vacations will be given away and each includes airfare, accommodations, and park passes. To enter and for more details, visit KAHP.org. That's KAHP.org. This message is sponsored by the Kentucky Association of Health Plans. Visit KAHP.org and get the shot, Kentucky.
This is Ernie Johnson Jr. Sports is about overcoming obstacles, and college coaches work hard to help young men overcome Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's called Coach to Cure MD, and you can help. Text the word CURE to 501-501 to donate $25 on your next mobile phone bill, or go online to coachtocuremd.org. Text the word CURE to 501-501. Help coaches cure MD.
Brought to you by the American Football Coaches Association and Werner Ladder.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Sunny and warm for your Tuesday with highs into the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. Tonight we're down into the upper 50s and low 60s. A chance for some patchy fog early on your Wednesday morning. Tomorrow we're going to see much more of that sunshine and highs back into the 80s. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
Born in a hurry, always late, haven't been early since 88.
Did you know
Texas is hot.
Columbus traveled at an average speed of 2.8 miles per hour on his first voyage across the sea?
Did not know that.
So many questions arise about how that average is calculated. Because if they were at anchor or they were stopped, or did that calculate? Did they pick the time in 1492 that Columbus sailed the ocean blue until the time that he landed in the Americas or the West Indies or wherever you want to describe that he landed? Okay. So that they take that total time and then the distance, and then come up to the 2.8, because then I might buy that. But 2.8 seems awfully slow in the Nina or the Pinta or the Santa Maria. I would have thought one of them had more horsepower than... Well, do they have horses on ships? Is that what makes them go?
Maybe.
Okay. But then I also thought... you don't know. You weren't there. I also wonder, though, did they have to go really slow because they were afraid they would drive over the edge?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Flat Earth.
I mean, the world was flat then. So they had to think, well, at some point in time, there's got to be the edge, so we really need to go real slow so our momentum doesn't take us over.
Yeah, I totally throw red flags over this whole 2.2 miles an hour thing.
2.8, to be clear.
Sorry. Excuse me. And I don't think anyone knows that. I don't think that...
Were you there?
That's what I'm saying.
Were you there to know that that wasn't the mile per hour that
Sam,
they
let's
or
not yell
knots per hour that they did?
Maybe you should log into the Wikipedia page and update the citation.
Yes. Oh, I will.
And say,
trust me.
So I think it's 2.2 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Dennis, I'm glad you're here today because
Thanks.
I know you're an expert on Machine Gun Kelly and all things Machine Gun Kelly. I learned yesterday I'm supposed to say MGK. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's
Sam?
what the cool kids say.
Apparently, there's a follow-up.
Oh, it's a person?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not an actual machine gun.
Okay, that's my first clue.
He was at Louder Than Life.
Is he okay?
Over the weekend and got booed. No, I don't think he's okay. By your and my standard of okay, I would say no. He does not pass the okay test.
Okay.
He might think he's
You're
okay.
just jealous of his hair.
There's zero
Am I?
part of me that's jealous of that hair. I'm not saying I'm not beyond some level of hair envy, but it's not that. I assure you. He was caught on camera punching an individual who seemed to storm him at his concert at Louder Than Life. So, in addition to getting booed and getting Eli Manninged at the show, apparently things came to fisticuffs. So,
Wow.
Extra day, we learn a little more about what happened. SNL has announced their full season 47 cast. 2 stars are not returning. Lauren Holt, who made her debut last fall, is not coming back. And Beck Bennett has finished his time at SNL. Kate McKinnon is back. Cecily Strong is back. Pete Davidson is back. They were unsure if they were going to make it back or not. Kenan Thompson will still be around. Casey Musgraves, you just heard her. She is the musical guest for the season premiere on Saturday. And
I saw Kim Kardashian's hosting one of the times in October.
Kim Kardashian is hosting one, and Deborah Messing cried foul on that. She said, "No, why?" Well, I mean, they've let Elon Musk and other famous people who might not be actors, and I would make a case. I'm not a huge Kim Kardashian fan, so don't hear it that way. But I would make a case that Kim Kardashian is more famous than Deborah Messing.
I don't know who Deborah Messing is.
She was Grace in Will and Grace.
Okay.
And so that's all that basically she's known for. But
It's all about the ratings, people.
Absolutely.
And Kim will get the ratings, I bet, because people will watch wanting to know, I mean, is she good?
Well,
Is
how
she
many
terrible?
Kanye jokes that night?
One of the things, probably several. One of the things that they're going to allow some of the primary cast as well, since Kenan has his own sitcom now, I think some of the cast players that you know are going to float in and out this year as they work around other commitments. It's one way of kind of keeping the cast together. But I'll be surprised on how long they can hold on to Kate McKinnon. I mean, she's just in that stretch now where this is her jumping off point to parlay her into something even greater. I now may finally enjoy TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, but if you tell me Dolly Parton is on it, then it's going to be really hard for me to avoid.
Yeah.
But Dolly Parton joins TikTok and shares words of inspiration in her first video. Just says it will be okay.
I like her pants in that video.
Yeah, they're much like Dolly. They're loud.
I mean, there's one person probably can pull off those pants, and it's Dolly Parton.
Probably Dolly or Dennis Cook. I mean, flip a coin. It's
I will
either
wear
or.
them.
Potato. It's one and the same. And Sam, you might have seen this, and Dennis, you might have as well. David Letterman was at the Nets Media Day yesterday. And so a reporter at the Brooklyn Nets Media Day introduced himself as Dave from Basketball Digest. Of course, who wouldn't recognize David Letterman? He was holding court. He first started. He asked a fellow reporter, "Could I borrow your notebook? I didn't bring one." He asked Kevin. He held up his hand and asked a question. He said, "Kevin, why do people call you KD?" And so Durant played along, and he did his, "Oh, well, my name's Kevin, and it starts with a K, et cetera." And then Letterman goes, "This year, what percentage do you plan on giving on the court? 90, 95, 110, 100, 110, what are we looking at?" And so Durant played along. So it was pretty funny.
I like Letterman.
Yeah, it just that's
I like non-political Letterman.
Yeah, non-political Letterman
His
is the
series
one
on
to be.
Netflix is really good.
And then he said, "I talked to the Dolan family. They said they were talking about letting you play for the Knicks on your days off." And he said, "All right, that's enough." And then he said, "Do you snicker when you play the Pelicans?" Pelicans is a funny word. So just
That's great.
Just typical David Letterman.
That is
It was pretty
good.
We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way. We'll wrap it up. Got chart toppers, point to ponder, pearl of wisdom, and more ahead here on In the Know.
When my wife Jean and I first entered premarital counseling, we had no doubts that we were meant for each other. We enjoyed most of the same things and felt we were alike in almost every way. By the time we finished our last session a week later, that had all changed. Our certainty had faded, and we were both thinking, wow, we're more different than we thought. Is our marriage going to be okay? No matter how much you and your spouse have in common, you'll eventually discover parts of your relationship where you don't mesh at all. In that moment, your efforts to become one will be challenged. Each of you will feel like your spouse ought to see the world the same way you do. Instead of battling each other at every turn, a better approach is found in grace. Grace is what becoming one is all about. Couples never know each other perfectly. Marriage is an unfolding mystery, a day-by-day discovery of what it means to love and sacrifice for another person. You never know fully what in sickness and in health means until one of you actually gets sick. You won't know what for better or for worse means until one of you does something unlovable, and you stay committed to your marriage anyway. To become one flesh, embrace your mate's differences. Sacrifice your desires on behalf of your spouse. Extend grace and allow your differences to bring you together, instead of driving you apart. To help your marriage thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Attention Medicaid members, get your first COVID vaccine shot September 6th through 30th and become eligible to win a 4-day, 3-night vacation to the most magical place ever in Orlando, Florida. 20 vacations will be given away and each includes airfare, accommodations, and park passes. To enter and for more details, visit KAHP.org. That's KAHP.org. This message is sponsored by the Kentucky Association of Health Plans. Visit KAHP.org and get the shot, Kentucky.
You may have been born to be wild, but you weren't born to be dead from a needless motorcycle crash. So when you're even just a little impaired, you do not get your motor running. You do not head out on the highway. What you do is get a ride from a sober friend, a taxi or rideshare service, or public transportation. Because you may be looking for adventure, but you're not looking for trouble. Please ride sober. Paid with funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed any help in any way.
MB's point to ponder for today. What's your guilty pleasure? Dennis is about to say cream cheese.
Casseroles.
Is this food related or anything?
It could be whatever however you want to interpret it.
Dr. Pepper. Does that count?
Sure, that can count.
Yeah, mine's not food related. Sarah and I have recently begun on the Discovery app watching the Alaskan Bush People show.
You know who loves that show? John Calipari.
Yes,
loves those shows.
Yes,
he loves the Alaskan shows.
Dennis, is this for you and the lovely and talented Miss Sarah Cook? Is this aspirational in nature? I know. I was giving her all
calm down.
all the accolades and giving you none.
No, I think it's the interest of the opposite way of life.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it's the
My parents just got back from Alaska a couple of weeks ago and loved it.
We would want to go on an Alaskan cruise someday.
That's what they did.
But this is like the total extreme opposite that we've ever known, and I think it's just intriguing.
Sam, find out from people find out from your parents if the cruise lines do bush people excursions. Like you take an excursion to go look at the bush people, because that may apparently intrigue the cooks. Dr. Pepper is yours.
Yeah,
the one I came up with is pizza. I just cannot resist pizza. I don't know.
I thought you would say Diet Coke.
No, that's not a guilty. And the thing is, it's not a pleasure. Diet Coke is in no way a pleasure anymore. It's just that's more of a habit. Yeah. And to be clear, I probably drink more unsweet tea now than I drink Diet Coke. Yeah. But there's just something about pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think it was cheeseburgers, but it's not cheeseburgers. It is pizza.
Food related, I would have to say no bake. Cookies.
Really? I love no-bake cookies, but I just don't have them as much so that I can call them, like, they're not there for me to be tempted by. But
yes.
Pizza's one of those things that I'm not even hungry, and I say, ooh, pizza.
Yeah. Christy makes no-bake cookies for us sometimes at the office. Because we can't have them at home.
No, she does not. It's like, you're talking about.
Sorry.
Different, Christy.
CB. Wait a minute.
That doesn't help.
Christy, what's your middle name?
Better not be Jay.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
did you watch
Sparky's wife?
Were you listening last week hearing about the Hallmark movies?
No. I try to stay away from any headlines. That way I'm fresh when I come in.
I did something very nice for you all on the show last week. So
I'll have to go
which
watch
is
that.
the opposite of how I treat you normally.
Yes.
On television.
Your dad does not approve of that, by the way.
That's not what he told me. Vanessa Hudgens. I've talked to him since you. Vanessa Hudgens is what? I don't know why I'm telling you Vanessa Hudgens is on the Drew Barrymore show today because it doesn't mean anything to me.
Does Drew Barrymore have a show?
She does.
Okay, I did not know that.
The Blind Auditions Part 4 on The Voice tonight on NBC, the series premiere of La Brea. There was a lady from, I assume she's a lady. She's a woman, I know that. From Catlettsburg, Kentucky, on The Voice last night.
Okay.
She did Rocket Man by Elton John as her song. And the Bravo on season 9 premiere of Vanderpump Rules. Is it too late to jump in? Because one, I've never heard of it, and I've missed the first 8 series.
I didn't understand a word you just said.
I know. Who are these Vanderpumps?
The Vanderpumps?
Are they like the Vanderbilts?
They live in the bush?
I
have no idea what that means.
A bird in the hand?
Yes, worth 2 in the feather.
Bird in the hand? Is that another Eli mention?
This little light of mine, hide it under a bush.
Yes. No.
Hide it under a bush, people. Oh, no. Today's highlight in history, this date in 1920, 8 members of the Chicago White Sox were indicted for allegedly throwing the 1919 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds.
World champs.
In 1066, William the Conqueror invaded England to claim the English throne. In 1850, flogging was abolished as a form of punishment in the U.S. Navy. Flogging, still a technique used, though, at K105 Digital Productions.
Yes, it is.
If you get out of line, you still can get
For
flogged.
employees only. Let's just clarify that.
That's right. 5 years ago today, Democrats joined the Republicans to hand Barack Obama the first veto override of his presidency. Birthdays today. Bridget Bardot is 87 today. Janine Garofalo is 57 today. Mira Sorvino is 54. Naomi Watts is 53. Hillary Duff is 34. But the most important birthday today, my grandmother, Gladys Buckles, is 93 years old today.
Happy birthday.
Isn't that amazing?
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday. I call her Mama Mom. The other kids couldn't say that, so they called her Mom. So I call her.
Sweet.
I still call her Mama. So, 93 years old today. Gone but not forgotten, Ed Sullivan in 1901. Al Capp in 1909. Jerry Clower in 1926.
That's good.
Dennis, are you a fan of Jerry Clower comedy?
No.
No?
I'm more of a Ray Stevens guy.
Okay. What if Jerry Clower opened up for Ray Stevens? Would you show up for the opening act or wait for the
I would,
headliner?
because I have to be early.
Ben E. King, born in 1938. Oh. You should... You are... How much Jerry Clower have you actually consumed?
Oh,
Dennis?
just some on YouTube. Not very much.
That's probably the place to turn. He's got a very specific brand of humor.
Yeah.
Was he kind of like Jerry Clower was a little bit like the forerunners to Jeff Foxworthy, right? That country brand of humor that kind of... What's this?
I'm more of a Roy D. Mercer.
1953. Les Paul and Mary Ford were number 1.
This is slow.
It is slow.
Tempo has nothing
So you don't
to
want
do
your
with how you should feel about a song without listening to it all the way through.
I think it can.
I'm sorry, Sam.
You don't want your goodbyes to be fast. If you're saying Vaya con Dios, you want to take your time.
If you're sharing about your love.
1962.
See,
Forever.
look at this. Already, it's got a little quicker, feels a
I
little better.
can't keep up. I don't even know what's happening right now.
This will forever be Ken Roberts' intro music. Still miss my friend all the time. This is Booker T and the MGs and Green Onions. Dennis, go home and work that up on the keyboard, will you?
I'm already thinking about the different key. Maybe
I think
slowing it down a little bit.
both of our good friends Steve Meredith would use this on his show down in Bowling Green as well.
He would? I didn't realize that.
He would use that
I had
sometimes.
two friends that used that.
The year that Clayton Delaney died.
1971. By the way, today would have been Rob Beasley's birthday as well.
Three mentions of great radio personalities.
Yeah, all this stuff coming together. Tom T. Hall, the late great Tom T. Hall, the year that Clayton Delaney died.
They said he got religion.
What, about a month ago? Well, I guess it's been a little longer than that.
6 weeks ago.
I like the song about the snake.
I was going to ask you if you like Sneaky Snake.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact title.
I did like the day that KSR broke it down, though, into the it's not really as good a song as you might think. Don't be hugging and kissing on the old Sneaky Snake. You know, if you actually go back, back and study it.
Whoa.
1980. Diana Ross #1 with Upside Down. Around and
Might
round.
have to flog your
No,
my crew tonight.
flogging is.
No, I was just given permission.
That's true.
See, I can do it when they're not looking.
Let's go to 1989.
See, they could be facing the other way.
Whoa, look at him hard at work.
You might want to frame that. Maybe
I actually would like that.
Maybe the only time
that'll be $50.
Cher, If I Could Turn Back Time was #1 this date in 1989.
I don't want it that much.
They move sometimes. Aerosmith, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, #1 in 98. Timbaland, The Way I Are in 07. And Kelsey Ballerini, Peter Pan, #1 5 years ago today. Yeah.
Love Cher.
Yeah, she's good.
I bet you do.
She
Sam.
and Dolly Parton are both national treasures.
The restaurant I worked at, we had a picture framed of Cher hanging in our kitchen.
From this video?
No, it was from...
Because then I could have understood a little better if it was from this video.
It wasn't signed
Do
or
you
anything.
believe in life
right?
after love?
On the battleship.
Believe was the one that we had it framed from.
All right. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. There can be no happiness if the things we believe in are different from the things we do. There can be no happiness if the things we believe in are different from the things we do. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, ask me. I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Dennis Cook, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's on